can't sing, can't act, balding, can dance a little. That was Fred Astaire's first screen test. The studio executive who wrote it thought he'd never make it in pictures. But he was so wrong. Astaire became the greatest dancer in cinema history. He made 10 films with Ginger Rogers, Easter Parade with Judy Garland, and Funny Face with Audrey Hepburn. You know Hollywood is all smoke and mirrors, so let's discover the real stories. Fact 15. Fred was only 5 feet 7 inches and wore 2-inch heels. Fred Astaire wasn't tall. He was 5 foot 7 inches, so he wore 2-inch heels in nearly every film. You can see them if you look closely. They're very visible. Even with the heels, most of his dance partners towered over him when they wore high heels. Ginger Rogers, Rita Hayworth, Sid Charisse, all taller than Astaire. Didn't matter, he made it work. Astaire disguised his large hands by curling his middle fingers. Fred Astaire had very large hands. He was self-conscious about them. So he developed a technique: curl the middle 2 fingers while dancing. Watch any Astaire film. His hands are never fully extended. The middle fingers are always slightly curled. It became his signature gesture, elegant, refined, and completely calculated. Fact 13. Rita Hayworth was his favorite dance partner. Fred Astaire danced with Ginger Rogers, Judy Garland, Sid Charisse, Audrey Hepburn, and many others. But when asked who his favorite on-screen partner was, Astaire always said, Rita Hayworth. They made 2 films together, You'll Never Get Rich, 1941, and You Were Never Lovelier, 1942. Astaire said Hayworth was the easiest to work with and the most naturally graceful. Ginger Rogers wasn't thrilled to hear that. Fact 12. Gene Kelly broke his ankle playing volleyball and made Easter Parade possible. Fred Astaire retired in 1946. He was done, finished, hanging up his dancing shoes at age 47. Then Gene Kelly broke his ankle playing volleyball in his backyard in 1948. Kelly was supposed to star in Easter Parade opposite Judy Garland, but with a broken ankle, he couldn't dance. So Kelly himself called Fred Astaire and asked him to take the role. Astaire came out of retirement. Easter Parade became one of his biggest hits, and his career was reborn for another decade, all because of a volleyball game. Fact 11. The feathered dress from Top Hat became a running joke. In Top Hat, 1935, Ginger Rogers wore an elaborate blue gown covered in ostrich feathers for the cheek-to-cheek number. Fred Astaire hated it. He knew feathers would fly off during filming. He was right. Feathers broke loose and floated around Astaire's face during takes. He later said it was like dancing with a chicken being attacked by a coyote. So, what did Astaire do? He parodied it. In Easter Parade, 1948, Judy Garland wears a similar feathered dress. And just like in Top Hat, feathers fly everywhere. Astaire incorporated it into the choreography as a comedy bit. Revenge served cold and covered in feathers. Fact 10. Astaire wore a toupee in almost every film. Fred Astaire was bald, started losing his hair young, so he wore a toupee in almost every film. The exception, when he wore a hat, which is why he wore so many hats. Top hat, white tie, tails. Astaire's signature look wasn't just style, it was strategic. Fact 9. Irving Berlin thought his career was over before Top Hat. When Irving Berlin wrote the score for Top Hat, 1935, he hadn't had a hit in years. He was in a deep creative slump. He thought he was finished. Then all 5 songs from Top Hat became major hits. On September 28, 1935, all 5 appeared in the top 15 on your hit parade, the same week. Fred Astaire later said this success restored Berlin's flagging self-confidence. The 2 became lifelong friends. Berlin would write songs for 6 Astaire films, more than any other composer. Fact 8. Astaire and Ginger Rogers danced together for the first time in a New York nightclub. Before Hollywood, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers met in New York. Astaire wrote in his autobiography that they went to a nightclub and danced together. Not on stage, not for a film, just 2 performers dancing for fun. Years later, they'd become the most iconic dance partnership in cinema history. But it started in a New York nightclub where nobody was watching. Fact 7. Lucille Ball appears in Top Hat as the florist's assistant. Before I Love Lucy. Before Desilu Productions. Before becoming the Queen of Comedy. Lucille Ball has a bit part in Top Hat, 1935, as the florist's assistant. Blink and you'll miss her, young, unknown. Just another contract player hoping for a break. Fact 6. He refused to rehearse dance numbers in segments, only full takes. When talking pictures were new, most directors shot dance numbers in segments, close-ups of feet, medium shots, wide shots, then edited them together. Fred Astaire refused. He insisted on full figure shots in single takes, no cuts, no tricks. Why? Because he wanted audiences to see the complete dance, the whole body, real movement in real space. Revolutionary at the time, standard practice today. Fact 4. He danced on the ceiling in Royal Wedding, 1951. In Royal Wedding, 1951, Fred Astaire dances on the walls and ceiling of a room. How? A rotating room built on a gimbal. The camera was locked to the room, so as the room rotated, Astaire appeared to defy gravity. It's one of cinema's most famous visual tricks, and Astaire performed the entire routine himself. No stunt doubles, no special effects beyond the rotating set. Fact 3. Funny Face, 1957, was based on photographer Richard Avedon. Fred Astaire's character in Funny Face, 1957, is based on legendary fashion photographer Richard Avedon. And Avedon himself did the photography for the film, including the famous darkroom sequence where Audrey Hepburn's face is unveiled. To get both Astaire and Hepburn to sign on, producers told each that the other was already attached. They figured neither would pass up the chance to work together. The gamble worked. Fact 2. He only received one competitive Oscar nomination for a non-musical. Fred Astaire was nominated for an Academy Award exactly once in his career. Not for dancing, not for a musical, for acting. The Towering Inferno, 1974, a disaster film. Astaire played an elderly con man. He didn't win, but he won the Golden Globe and the BAFTA for the same role. In 1950, he received an honorary Oscar for his unique artistry and contributions to the technique of musical pictures. That was as close as Hollywood came to recognizing his genius with a competitive award. Fact 1. He died on the same date as Judy Garland, exactly 18 years later. Fred Astaire died on June 22, 1987. He was 88 years old. Judy Garland, his Easter Parade co-star, died on June 22, 1969. Exactly 18 years apart, same day. When Astaire died, former President Ronald Reagan called him an American legend and the ultimate dancer. Ginger Rogers said he was the best partner anyone could ever have. And the studio executive who wrote Can't Sing, Can't Act, Balding, Can Dance a Little. Nobody remembers his name, but everyone remembers Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire, the dancer who almost never made it past his first screen test, who wore a toupee and 2-inch heels, who came out of retirement because Gene Kelly broke his ankle playing volleyball. 10 films with Ginger Rogers, Easter Parade with Judy Garland, Dancing on Ceilings, Dancing with Hat Racks, and a legacy that made everyone forget he was told he could only dance a little. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Noir Lens for more classic Hollywood deep dives. Drop a comment. What's your favorite Fred Astaire film? Until next time, keep watching The Elegance.